Today, let's talk about applying pre-emergent to your lawn, when you should apply it, how you should apply it, and why you should even apply it. Pre-emergent is generally put down to prevent crabgrass. Now, it helps with other lawn weeds like perennial weeds, but the reason we put it down is mostly to solve for crabgrass. It won't solve your crabgrass problem completely, but it will help tremendously. Now, a lot of people have a hard time trying to find the difference between crabgrass and tall fescue. These are two species of grass that look, to some people, identical. To a lawn care guy like me, I could very easily tell them apart, and you will too after time. But I'm going to leave a video down in the show notes that I made that shows you the difference between crabgrass and tall fescue. Now, what we're putting down in the springtime to help with crabgrass will not kill tall fescue. So a lot of times we get a call in our office and people say, I got crabgrass in my lawn everywhere. And we go out, or they send us a picture and it's really tall fescue, which is not treatable. So let's go ahead and let's get our lawn ready for the spring. Let's talk about the steps we need to do to prepare before we put down the pre-emergent, and talk about why we should put it down and how we should do it. Come with me. The first thing I like to do when the snow's over for the season per se, in Colorado it's never really over, it comes and goes, but when you think most of the snowstorms are done, I like to get a rake and rake up the lawn. Not the entire yard, but specifically the north sides where the snow has been sitting on the grass most of the year, or most of the winter, I should say, because it really mats down the grass. You get some snow mold that kind of comes into the lawn from the snow just sitting on the lawn with no sun or no oxygen getting to it. So I like to just rake it up, get the grass to stand tall, and then let all that air, that fresh air, get down to the soil. I also like to rake up these matted sections, because when I put down the pre-emergent, which is in a granular form, it allows those little granular pearls, which are the little balls, to kind of sink down into the soil, right into the turf, instead of lay on top of the matted grass. So that's a really good idea. So just spend some time raking up the lawn. It's actually kind of fun, and you'll work up a little sweat and build up some muscles. I notice as I'm raking the yard, I see a little bit of snow mold here in the grass. This is where the snow's been sitting on the lawn for most of the winter months. There's really not much you can do or need to do about it. Just keep raking it up, get some oxygen down to the root system there, and you'll be fine. So usually snow mold is not a problem at all. Just rake it up and get some air to that soil, and you'll be looking good. I also like to clean up the yard before I put down my pre-emergent, because there's so many leaves on the yard, especially here in Littleton, where I am, Littleton, Colorado, where the leaves really aren't done, and then we get some snow in the wintertime, so they're still around. So I just like to clean up the yard, make it really nice, and just get ready for the spring season, putting down my pre-emergent. So I'll go ahead and mow the lawn, pick up all the leaves, rake up all the leaves, and just get ready for the year. It's springtime, so the question I get asked often is, when should you put down your pre-emergent? Now, pre-emergent is a crabgrass control, and what you do is you put it down in the spring so it helps eliminate crabgrass from coming up throughout the season. Is it going to help 100%? The answer is no. There's always what we call breakthrough. So it's going to work about 80% well. Remember the 80-20 rule? It's going to work about 80% effectively. And then you might have a little bit of breakthrough, but the spring is the best time to put down the pre-emergent. You should note, though, if you plan on planting any grass seed or any type of thing like that throughout the season, you do not want to put down pre-emergent, because the same technology in the bag that eliminates crabgrass from growing also eliminates seed from germinating. So If you're going to seed later on in the year or think you may need to, don't put down any pre-emergent. Now let's take a look at this lawn here. This lawn, it's springtime, so it's brown. It's starting to come up. I just went ahead and mowed it the other day and picked up all the leaves. And it's about the time of year to put down pre-emergent. What I like to do is check the temperature of the soil. Now, you can do that by just getting one of these food cooking temperature things and sticking it to the ground. You can see here, it's about 50 degrees, which is perfect. I like to see soil temperatures around 50 to 55 degrees before you put down pre-emergent. So now is the right time to put down pre-emergent. Again, this is just a food thermometer that I stick into the ground, and it works pretty accurately to figure out your soil temperatures there. So it's a good time now to go ahead and put down your pre-emergent. You want to spread it on and water it in. Like anything else we put down on the lawns, water always helps, because once you start to water the pre-emergent, whether it's in a liquid or granular form, it starts to react and push itself down to the soil and starts to do its thing. So for the most part, anytime you can water, it's a plus. So now it's time to put down the pre-emergent. What I'm putting down is a granular pre-emergent fertilizer mix. So it has half fertilizer and the other part of the mix is pre-emergent. Pre-emergent is to control your perennial weeds, but mostly crabgrass. It's not going to eliminate crabgrass completely, but it's going to help it come up in a large percentage. So it might help with 80% of your crabgrass problem, but it won't solve 100%. It's just not that foolproof. So when putting it down, I spread it over the lawn just like a regular fertilizer. And anytime you can water this in, it's great because it starts the process of breaking down that fertilizer prills. And you can see as it is, those prills get down into the soil. And when you water them in, they leak and leach down into the soil and start to do their job. The lawns are dry, they're not looking great this time of year, and so this is about the time to get that pre-emergent down and start the process of a green lawn this spring. I know sometimes people ask, at least some of our customers ask, why is this section of the lawn greener? Or why is my neighbor's lawn greener than mine? One thing that helps lawns green up quickly in the spring is temperature. So if we were to check the soil temperature of this area, which is mostly in the sun all day, it's probably much warmer than that 50 degrees we tested earlier. And the soil and the grass needs a warmer temperature to start to green up. So you can see here, if we stand back, that part's probably green. Where it's a little colder here, you can see it's not so green. So this is definitely not as warm and doesn't get as much sun as this area here. And you can see back in that left corner there that the grass is really warm, the root system is warm, and it's really starting to green up. Let's go ahead and check that soil temperature, and I bet you it's a lot warmer than 50 degrees in here. Let's go ahead and stick it down in the soil, about 3 inches or so, and see what it says. Right away, it's already at about 60 degrees, so about 5 degrees warmer than the other one. I bet you if we leave it here, it'll probably go up another 5 degrees. But yes, that is true. Then the soil is definitely warmer there, which gives you a greener area faster. If you look over here, you can see this is green along here also, definitely much warmer. And then we get over here, and this is where the sun does not hit this spot every day, and you can see it just hasn't greened up yet. So now's the time to put down your pre-emergent. Look at the application rate on the bag, throw it in your spreader and start throwing it down on the turf so you can eliminate that crabgrass before crabgrass starts to germinate and starts to look funny in your lawn.